What if a movie was so violent, so twisted, that the director had to ban it himself? In 1971, Stanley Kubrick released a film that changed cinema forever. A tale of youth violence, government mind control, and moral collapse wrapped in classical music and psychotic charm. But the fallout was immediate. Audiences walked out. Censors shut it down. And in the UK, it vanished for nearly 30 years. Why? Because they feared it wasn't just a film. It was a prophecy, starring Malcolm McDowell as Alex DeLarge, the grinning, Beethoven-loving monster with a charm you hate to love, Warren Clarke, James Marcus, and Michael Tarn as his gang of droogs. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. Based on the controversial novel by Anthony Burgess, who later regretted writing it. It made Malcolm McDowell a legend, and made Stanley Kubrick retreat from the spotlight. In a futuristic Britain, Alex DeLarge is leader of a gang of droogs, Georgie, Dim, and Pete. They engage in an intoxicated evening of ultra-violence, which includes beating a vagrant and fighting a rival gang. They beat writer Frank Alexander to the point of crippling him, and Alex rapes Alexander's wife while singing "Singin' in the Rain." The next day, Alex's probation officer, PR, Deltoid, cautions him. Alex's droogs are not content with petty crime and want more equality in high-yield thefts. But Alex asserts his authority by attacking them. Alex invades the home of a wealthy cat lady and bludgeons her with a phallic sculpture while his droogs remain outside. On hearing sirens, Alex tries to flee, but Dim smashes a bottle in his face and leaves him to be arrested. The woman dies of her injuries, and Alex is sentenced to 14 years in prison for murder. 2 years into the sentence, Alex accepts an offer to be a test subject for the Minister of the Interior's new Ludovico technique, an experimental aversion therapy for rehabilitating criminals within 2 weeks. Alex is strapped to a chair, his eyes clamped open and injected with drugs. He is forced to watch films of sex and violence, some accompanied by his favorite composer, Ludwig van Beethoven. Alex is nauseated, and, fearing he will be sick upon hearing Beethoven, begs for an end to the treatment. The minister demonstrates Alex's rehabilitation to officials. Alex is unable to fight back against an actor who taunts and attacks him, and becomes ill upon seeing a topless woman. The prison chaplain complains that Alex has been robbed of his free will. The minister asserts that the Ludovico technique will cut crime and alleviate crowding in prisons. Released from prison, Alex finds his possessions have been sold to provide compensation for his victims, and his parents have let out his room. A vagrant whom Alex attacked years earlier attacks him with his friends. Alex is saved by 2 policemen whom he is shocked to find are his former droogs, Dim and Georgie. They beat and nearly drown him before abandoning him. Alex collapses on the doorstep of a nearby home. Alex wakes to find himself in the home of Mr. Alexander, who now uses a wheelchair. Alexander does not recognize Alex from the previous attack, but knows of him and the Ludovico technique from the newspapers. He prepares to present Alex to his colleagues as a political weapon. Alex breaks into "Singin' in the Rain" while bathing, and Alexander realizes it was he who assaulted his wife and him. Alexander drugs Alex and locks him in a bedroom, then plays Beethoven's Ninth Symphony loudly from the floor below. Unable to withstand the pain, Alex attempts suicide by jumping from the window. Alex awakes in hospital with multiple injuries. During psychological tests, he finds he no longer has aversions to violence and sex. The minister arrives and apologizes, saying the government has had Mr. Alexander institutionalized. He offers to take care of Alex and get him a job in return for his cooperation with his election campaign and public relations counteroffensive. The minister brings in a stereo system playing Beethoven's Ninth. Alex contemplates violence and has thoughts of having sex with a woman in front of an approving crowd, thinking, "I was cured all right." This wasn't just a film, it was a mirror that many feared would break society. Why it was banned. Brutal violence committed by teenagers. Graphic sexual assault scenes paired with upbeat music. Psychological torture and brainwashing. Real-life crimes copied scenes from the film. Allegations. It glamorized evil rather than condemning it. Repercussions. A man was killed by teens quoting lines from the film. A woman was assaulted while her attackers sang "Singin' in the Rain," just like Alex did. Death threats were sent to Stanley Kubrick's family. Kubrick himself pulled the movie from the UK after the threats. It stayed banned for nearly 3 decades, only returning after his death in 1999. Other countries followed. Ireland, officially banned. Australia, removed from stores. US television, heavily censored. France, triggered protests. Critics debated morality. Politicians blamed it for crime. And Kubrick? He disappeared from public view. A Clockwork Orange wasn't just a story. It was a warning. What happens when we try to cure evil? By killing free will. This film terrified governments. It scarred generations. And it made Malcolm McDowell and Stanley Kubrick immortal in cinematic history. Subscribe now for more banned films, untold truths, and the shocking stories Hollywood tried to hide. Next episode? The horror movie that made people faint in theaters and was banned for over 25 years.